Alright, welcome back.
Welcome back to a level up screen again.
Yay! Derek leveled up slightly off camera.
I went into one battle and I leveled up because of the boss fight.
Hilarious. So, yeah, no, VR has VR's at a weird point now because, like, it stopped being pushed as, like, the future.
Yeah.
Like, as most new technologies tend to be.
Because it's way too costly for all these companies.
It's super expensive. That's the first problem with it. It's super expensive. And it has, like, a ton of inconveniences to it that everyone has just been, like, that everyone was just ignoring while it was gaining in popularity, that I was like, but what about these things? And people were just like, but VR! And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't solve any of the fucking problems I brought up, guys.
But VR!
But the future...
the future is gaming.
I had a very similar moment with that with, like, 3D printers, where people were like, 3D printers are the future! And I was like, yeah, but, like, the future of what? And they're like, the ultimate, you can print whatever you want. And I'm just like, yeah, but that's useless if I don't know what I want to print.
Yeah. Like, I like the idea of a 3D printer, but at the same time, I'm like, what would I use it for?
Yeah, no, I had an opportunity to buy one off of a friend of mine for, like, I wouldn't say cheap, but, like, for cheaper than fucking they normally go, right? And I was like, and I turned it down because I was like, what the fuck would I print?
That's what Trevor, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I was like,
fucking,
I think I remember this, but...
Yeah, well, he bought it, and then he was just like, I don't really have a use for this. And I was like, and I had the same fucking thought process where I was just like, actually, well, he bought it, but he bought his, like, dirt cheap. I think he found it at a fucking thrift store or something.
Like, I would be like, I kind of want one, but at the same time, I'm like, what the fuck would I use it for?
Yeah, and that's essentially the problem he ran into. He's like, I don't know what to use it. I'm thinking of selling it. He's like, you interested in buying it? And I was like, yeah. And I thought about it and I was like, I don't know what I'd fucking use it for either.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is making custom, like, tabletop minis.
Yeah.
And I'm like I don't play enough of them to warrant that.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. You know what I did think of, actually, recently, of, like, things I could use it for, is... Do you remember the old dungeon dice monsters from Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yes.
I'm like, I could use it to 3D print some minifigures for dungeon dice monsters, and then I could just print out the cards and play dungeon dice monsters without spending a small fortune.
Yeah, I mean, you'd spend a small fortune making it, but it would be less of a fortune than if you had to buy the pieces.
But then that's the thing, is I'm also a collector, so, like, the pieces are more value to me than printing them for cheap, you know what I mean?
I completely understand.
So, that was kind of like my, maybe.
But if you did do that, Chris, I'd be game to play that.
Yeah, I have Dungeon Dice Monsters. The original box set that they released in the US that now goes for, like, $300 fucking dollars. I still have all the pieces and everything. The box is in horrible shape, but all the pieces and objects in the box are in great shape. So
Fire!
So ironically, it's probably still worth like $100, but
yeah, condition of the box,
But
condition of the thing, great.
Dude, we got fucked, man. I went and looked it up. The Japanese fucking box set they got, the box set the Japanese players got, way better than ours. Came with, like, fucking 4 extra figures than we did, more fucking dice, more fucking, like, everything. The dice actually work like the fucking show. Where
they
unfold into shapes that you can then put on the fucking mat.
That's actually really cool.
Way fucking cooler than what we got. I also understand why we didn't get it, because, like, dice that pop open are kind of bad to roll because they hit the ground and then pop open and then you don't know what you got, but... Fucking, the concept is way cooler than ours.
Yeah. That was a weird little arc they had in that show.
They really were pushing that game, and then they were quickly like, let's not fucking do this. And you know what, I know why they were like that, because... Here's the thing, Dungeon Dice Monsters, and I don't know if you remember, it was Pokemon, I think it was Pokemon Spinners or something?
Yes.
But they were the figurines that you put on, and you spun them, and then depending on where the spinner landed was the attack you did.
Yeah, I
Which,
think
by
I
the
remember
way, game fucking stupid. It's way too much random luck-based bullshit. But the figures they had that spun, holy fucking god, the quality of those figures are awesome. Some of the coolest goddamn shit that Nintendo/Pokemon has ever made. But, game horribly fucking dumb. He's all fucking random luck-based bullshit.
Chris doesn't like games that are luck-based, which I can agree with.
Yeah, like, there's nothing fun to me about... Well, a little bit of luck is fine. As long as...
It's not the core mechanic of it.
As long as the vast majority of it is skill, then I'm fine with it.
I agree.
But that's easier said than done.
Like, in case you... I don't know if this is going to be going up at the same time as we're playing those board games. Probably not.
No, probably, because that shit... I mean, obviously they're going to go up first, but, like...
Yeah, so
it's probably
they might
still
have been
gonna
up
be
by then.
Running by this point, so,
But
yeah.
a lot of those little, like, games in the Nintendo Collection thingy...
Yeah.
Some of them... Very, very luck-based, and Chris hates them because...
Yeah,
they're luck-based, I get it.
I hate luck-based games. Any game where the core mechanic of it is to be lucky is like, I hate this.
Oh, I completely get it.
That's why, fucking, where's that Dragon Ball game we played a long time ago?
Oh,
Dragon Ball Burst something?
Xenoverse? No, not Xenoverse.
No.
Xenoverse is actually okay.
Yeah, Xenoverse was good. Let me see. It was Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi...
Yeah.
Something.
The one that's rock, paper, scissors.
Ultimate Tenkaichi, yeah. Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi is garbage. Every fucking clash in that game is a 50-50 fucking coin flip. It's not even rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors would be like a 1 in 3 chance of winning. It's literally a 50-50. You pick heavy or light and then hope to God you win. And that's the entire fucking game, and it's awful. It's like the worst fighting game I've ever played in my life.
And it's one thing if you're playing it against a player, another person, because you can, even though you're not looking at their controller, you can kind of get a read on people. On the AI, it's absolutely nonsense.
Yeah. Oh god, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I hate it.
And I watched my brother play through that entire game more than once.
Because, like,
it's absolute garbage.
Like, I play a lot of card games, and a lot of card games are just, like...
Luck.
Yeah, luck-based. It's, like, randomly discard cards or flip over.
Draw
or
cards.
Draw a card. Yeah, I mean, even drawing card is inherently luck in your deck. But, like, it's the skill of what you can do with what you get that makes it way more interesting to me.
Like, that's the thing, like, how do I phrase this? Competitive level, like, card stuff.
Yeah.
Card games.
Yes.
There is luck to it, but there is also a very large degree of skill of constructing a deck in a manner that is using the mechanics you get to maneuver around the obstacles of luck.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
That's the cool thing about that type of stuff. But at the same time, it's like, it's still incredibly luck-based.
Like, I had a moment recently where I was playing Teppen, right? I know I talk about Teppen a lot on this show, but I like the card game. It's a ton of fun. But there's a card that my opponent played, which essentially gives you +3 attack, but it makes it so any attack that this card takes is dealt directly to the player instead, right?
Oh, one of those cards.
So one of those cards. So they play it, and I'm like, oh man, that could be a problem. I should kill them. And then I realized in my hand I had a card that does 12 damage split across the board. But he only has 1 card on the field. And he has 12 health left. And he just made that card so that any damage it takes goes directly to the opponent. So I let it go through. He gets the attack bonus, and right before he attacks me, I hit him with 12 damage and win the game. And I'm like, luck-based, but fucking skill luck-based.
Yeah, that was so you remember Hearthstone, right? The Blizzard card game.
Absolutely.
There was a lot of it's luck based, and then there was a lot of skill you could do because you could make a deck in a certain manner. And then it just became more and more RNG.
Yeah.
And people were like, I am done with this game. Like, the competitive scene for that game died pretty dang quick when the Magic card game came out.
Yep.
Because the Magic card game is a vastly superior one to the Hearthstone.
I was gonna say, I'm like, the problem is that Hearthstone is literally just Magic.
Like, cheap Magic.
Yeah, it's just like cheap, shittier Magic. It's why I don't play any fucking Hearthstone/Hearthstone clone games.
Yeah.
Because I play them for like a week, and then I'm like, this mechanic sucks, and then I stop playing it completely. It's the reason why, Derek will be interested in this, I think, more than anyone else, which is, so I know how to play Magic now, because I watched the Game Grumps play Magic. And I was like, oh, I get how this works. It's incredibly basic, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
No,
it's incredibly straightforward how this works.
It's so simple, Chris, and that's why I'm like... It's so simple, Chris would love it and hate it at the same time.
Yeah, the problem is, like, after seeing it, I was like, this is kind of, like, too basic for me, though. Like, you can't just, like, chain a million cards.
Oh,
like,
you can with certain cards.
I know there's always gonna be, like, oh, you can do, like, all this stuff, but it's so fucking resource heavy. It's another super heavy resource game, which is why I'm not a huge fan of resource games unless either I already know people playing them, thus forcing me into them, or or I'm like, this resource mechanic doesn't make me want to pull my teeth out. Which Magic and Pokemon both struggle with. Because Magic and Pokemon both have a resource system that's just like, the resource is part of your deck, and it's like, well, how much of your deck is resource? And they're like, well, it should be all of it? And then... and then it's like, well, what if I only draw resources? And they're just like, fuck you? And it's like, this game is great.
Yeah, that's the thing with Magic. A standard Magic deck is 60 cards, and you want about 22 to 26, 28 lands, depending on how the deck is. And it's one of those things like, but how would I know that unless I knew it?
Unless I already knew that. Dude, Pokemon's fucking worse, because Pokemon runs 60 card decks, and they expect you to have like 40 fucking element cards in your deck.
Really?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's awful.
I never could like build an actual deck in Pokemon.
Oh, dude, it's fucking brutal. It's they want because like, you need them because every time you use an attack, you have to discard that element. So you need to have, like, a million fucking element cards just to attack. And it's awful. That's why there's so many cards in fucking Pokemon that are just, like, shuffle your entire hand into the fucking deck and draw 7 cards. Oh. Because they expect you to just have fucking nothing all the time in that game.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. Like, that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Would be so busted. If Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a fucking card that was just like, discard your hand and draw 7 cards, like, everyone would play an Exodia deck. No, that'd be the most busted shit ever.
It's literally the same thing with Magic. If there was a card like that in Magic, people would only run that card, and it would be banned almost immediately.
Oh, absolutely. Like, but Pokemon doesn't give a shit how many cards you have in your hand or how fast you cycle your cards, because you can't do fucking anything with them unless you have a Pokemon on the field, and you can only attach one fucking element at a time, so the game is super slow anyways, so fuck it. The only thing that made Pokemon somewhat interesting to me was Rain Dance Blastoids, I think it was? Which was, like, an ability that Blastoids had that was just, like, put as many water elements as you want every turn, which made the game fucking ridiculous.
I actually think I knew that one.
It made the game so fast-paced. And I don't even think it was a top-tier deck, because there's so many slower, grindier... This card has 1,000,000 health and hits like a fucking truck cards in the game, and doesn't need to evolve cards in the game, that it doesn't matter. It's like, I'm playing Bulbasaur, and Bulbasaur will evolve into Venusaur. Venusaur has 100 health, and then they're just like, I play fucking Arkanoid, which has 1,400 attack with fucking 200 health. It attacks immediately, destroying your Pokemon. I win 2 prizes. And it's like, and you have no Pokemon on your bench, so I automatically win the game. And it's like, wow, what a great fucking game this is. I don't at all hate this.
I never really learned how to play that game, because I was just like, I'm just gonna stick with the games.
I know how to play almost every fucking card game ever made that had even slight popularity as an anime at this point.
Yeah.
Or at least, no, from 2005 to 2010, I knew how to play literally every fucking card game that was on the market. I didn't play every card game, but I knew how to play, like, every fucking card game. Because I used to really like card games.
On motorcycles.
Because, like, the only one that's super weird and super out there out of all the card games, the one that, like, doesn't fucking hold to any standard even remotely, is Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so fucking vastly different than every other card game.
That's why
It's
when I went
super
from
weird.
playing... I knew how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I used to play it as a kid,
Yeah.
to learning how to play Magic at college.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is vastly different than Yu-Gi-Oh! I can see there's some similarities,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, wow.
What makes Yu-Gi-Oh! So interesting, and I think why I like it so much, is that there is no, air quotes, resource system. You don't have to wait for anything in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
You can just go off.
You
Like,
can only play one monster a turn, or am I
you can only play one monster a turn,
But
you
you
can
can do-
there's unlimited special summoning.
Yeah.
So if you special summon a card via another card's effect, that doesn't count as a normal summon. Or a set, which you can only do once per turn.
Yeah.
So, like, you can just go off in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you have the right hand. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is one of those games where, like, you draw the right card, and then all of a sudden your field is filled with 4,000 attack point monsters.
Yeah.
And it's like, fucking, the whole board is filled, and you're just like, alright, your move.
I do all of this. I play Black Hole and you lose.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is also a game where you can literally play one card and destroy everything on the fucking field.
They
and
call
laugh.
those board sweeps.
Yeah, board.
They are banned in a lot of things.
They're all back now because there's so many monsters
That can
in
do
Yu-Gi-Oh!
that bullshit.
that just block card effects now.
Oh, God.
So, like, they'll be like, alright, well, I play Black Hole, and it's like, well, I activate this card's effect, which cancels out Black Hole. And it's like, and now my board is still filled.
Gotta love it, you know?
Yeah. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Got fucking... Let's put it this way, Yu-Gi-Oh! Got fucking out of control very fast. The power creep in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is insane. Like, actually fucking insane.
I mean,
And the
it is
funny
what it
thing is they introduced a mechanic to prevent the overpoweredness of Yu-Gi-Oh! And they just went back on it. Like, they added Link I don't know if you guys know Link Monsters,
You told
but
me about Link Monsters.
they added Link Monsters in an extra board zone, where you can only special summon cards to this special block now. And then that block, but what you want to do is you want to special summon a Link Monster, which will have arrows pointing to your field, so then you can special summon only to where the arrows point to. Thus preventing them from going on crazy special summoning things where they summon like 5 monsters across the board, all with like 1,000 attack and 1,000,000 effects. They were like,
only confused me a
they're
little
like,
bit.
they were like, we slowed down the game so you can't go fucking off anymore like you used to be. And I was like, yeah, and when they announced that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Yu-Gi-Oh's getting a little out of hand. And then literally next season, they were just like, yeah, Link Monsters don't really matter anymore. You can just special summon wherever now. We don't care anymore. The linked things are just for their bonus effects. It doesn't actually count to where you can special summon. And I was like, oh, okay, I see we're just going fucking insane again. That's fine. Like, I can see we're going right back to where we were.
I think I've told you about this deck before in Magic, but it was just like, hey, you want to play? You don't get to. My turn lasts 20 minutes.
Oh, dude, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the worst of that. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to play a deck that was designed solely to draw every single card in the deck, and then special summon Scyther the Sky Dragon, and then hit for like 40,000 damage, and I was like, this deck is stupid.
I think I told you about this one. I don't know if it was really a competitive level deck, but there was one card that you put a counter on this guy,
Yo.
and then you put a counter on him on another. If you put a 1/1 counter on something, you can put another counter on this guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you have 2 of them, they infinite off each other, and you can have 2 1,000,000 swinging at the person.
Yep. That's pretty much how Yu-Gi-Oh! Works.
That's the deck I want to show you if we ever play Magic.
I just found out about this. They just invented a new fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. I think it's called Rush, if I'm not mistaken. But Rush looks fucking awesome.
Okay.
Dude, it's... Imagine regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Except instead of 5 board slots, you only have 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now, imagine that you can normal summon infinitely that turn. So instead of having a normal summon be limited, and then get your extra summons with special summons, you can just normal summon everything in your fucking hand, and then end your turn, and on the start of your next turn, you draw until you have 5 cards. So you can just dump your whole fucking hand with one crazy play, and on your next turn you get 5 more cards to go insane again.
This sounds absolutely insane.
It's fucking awesome. I was watching a couple games, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I'm like, you're telling me is that you made a game that's even less restrictive than normal Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is inherently the most unrestricted card game I've ever played. Okay, I'm down. I want to see where this shit goes.
So what you're telling me is we need to get some of these rush decks and play it.
It essentially works like old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Because on your first turn you can just be like... I play 2 monsters. I sacrifice 2 monsters for fucking Dark Magician. I attack for 2,500 immediately.
Oh boy, I love it. You activated my trap card?
Dude, you could literally play 3 monsters, sacrifice all 3 monsters, and summon fucking Obelisk the Tormentor or fucking Scythe of the Sky Dragon on your first fucking turn. And just laugh, like, maniacally as you do it.
I'm not saying that sounds broken as fuck, but...
Oh, it's amazingly broken. It's like the peak of broken bullshit. It's amazing. Like, I want more card games to make a weird game mode where all the rules of the card game are just, like, null and void. Like, I would totally play a version of Magic where it was just like, yeah, all cards just assume you have max lands on the field and you can just play whatever.
I was watching somebody and they
I would
were
totally play that.
I was watching somebody and they were like, yeah, how I play Magic, it's not the right way to play Magic, but you got your deck full of your mana and your deck full of your stuff, and you can draw from either one of those you like. And I'm like, that inherently is fucking stupid, but I actually kind of like that.
I wish I could remember what card game it was, actually, going back to the resource system. There was a card game I was following recently, like it just came out and I was listening to it, and they had an amazing concept that I had not considered. They have their, lands or energy cards in their own separate deck.
Yeah, that's what I was
that you get to draw from, and I'm like, this is vastly better than fucking
most of the card games.
All these resource-based card games where it's just like, did I draw a land? No. Did I draw a land? No. Did I draw a land this time? No. Alright, I surrender. You fucking win. I don't even care. This game fucking sucks.
I think they've talked to you about it before, but in Magic, the type of decks, the green deck is the one that gets really big shit out really quickly.
Yeah.
And that would be the deck you would play probably, Chris. Because
probably.
I just love me my big green man. My big green man.
See, I like also another card game that did resource way better than all the other card games. Fucking, if anyone remembers this shit, fucking the original Naruto card game.
Yep.
The original Naruto card game, dude. You know how you need, like, lands and stuff, and it's, like, those elements? Okay, imagine, right, that every monster every ninja card, ninjutsu, item card, all have their own elements. And you can just put those cards into your chakra field, and those count as your lands. I don't need to fill up my deck with useless lands, I can just put fucking anything I want in my land fucking counter. And then I can use them for anything.
I mean, of course.
Like, why do we not do this? Like, this makes way more fucking sense.
Like you would, you know.
I'm gonna develop my own card game.
It's
gonna have none of the bullshit most card games have. But it won't be popular enough to actually gain people's attention. We need a licensee. Who has cool shit that would be willing to license it out for cheap? Konami. Fucking... We're gonna make a Silent Hill card game, Derek.
Let's do it.
I mean, they already made the Pachinko machine. We may as well go for it, right?
Let's do it, man.
They'd probably give us the rights for cheap. They're not doing anything with it.
Let's do it, man.
I'd be down for it. Like, let's see. Like, there's tons of items you can equip. Guns, bullets. Guns need bullets equipped. Guns would be like an item card.
That's a mechanic, yeah.
Yeah. Guns need bullets to be
Wait, we gotta
ammo.
stop talking about it now before somebody steals this idea.
Yeah, of course. It's too good. Wow.
I got a Simbar.
Alright, Derek, I'll give you one more pull and then we'll call the episode. What are you gonna get? Damn, that's a good cloud.
Yeah.
Woo! Alright. All right, we're gonna pick it up in the next part. We'll see you guys then. Peace.